Back at it again, and they're in trouble. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let me say this. Everyone is leaving the Democrat Party too. Now let's dive in.
And we're going to talk about some of that strong economic data with Steve Ratner in our next segment. Corrine, good morning. Good to have you with us.
Hey, Will.
Let me ask you about this new poll that just came out, USA Today's Suffolk poll, that shows some warning signs for you all at the White House among the coalition that has supported Democrats, that has supported this president for so long. According to this poll, the president now has 63% of support from black voters. He enjoyed 87% support in 2020. Among Latino voters, perhaps most troubling, he won that group by 33 points in the 2020 election. Donald Trump now leads among Latino voters. According to this poll, the president now has 63% of support from black voters.
I believe there was a statistic. So 63% support from black people. I believe there was a statistic that came out that said if Democrats drop below, it was either 80 or 70%. Statistically, they can't win. Now, please do not take this as I need to sit back and relax. Take this as I need to become more like Scott Presler type of moment. Shout out to Scott Presler. I've been retweeting a lot of his stuff on X. I mean, that guy, I salute to Scott Presler, man. I mean, he is doing exactly what I have been saying Republicans need to do. He's out going door to door, getting people registered, hosting events and, getting people registered, talking to people, traveling around the country and talking to folks, getting people engaged with the Republican Party. And I am absolutely loving it and want to give him the biggest shout out. Shout out to Scott Presler. All right, Scott Presler. If you're not following him, I highly encourage all of you to go and follow Scott Presler. You can also volunteer with his group as well. So if you're interested in that, you can contact him, and I'm sure he'll direct you wherever you need to go. Big shout out to Scott Presler. But yeah, take that as a bit of motivation. Like we're on the right path. We still got to show up and do our part every single day of this year leading up to November. But we are on the right track right now, and it is beautiful to see. Let's continue though.
He enjoyed 87% support in 2020. Among Latino voters, perhaps most troubling, he won that group by 33 points in the 2020 election. Donald Trump now leads among Latino voters by 5 points. How do you explain those numbers?
Yeah, and Willie, and good to see you.
Before she gets into that, because I know somebody's going to say, well, he's only leading by 5. Yeah, but you have to look at the entire picture. Trump is leading by 5 now, but Biden led by 33 points previously. That's a 38-point swing. 38-point swing. So yeah, some people, Trump has only got a 5-point lead right now, but Biden had a 33. That means he's lost 38 points. That is insane. That is absolutely that's another thing that I think Republicans need to do as well, is engage with the Latinos and Hispanics of this country. Okay, because you see that with Democrats, and there was an article that came out that said that, and I need to do my research because this was just one headline that I read, but apparently some Democrat group had bought a Latino radio station kind of thing recently. Like, I think it was like the end of it was like last fall, if I remember correctly, where I saw the article. I didn't look all that far into it. It was just kind of one of those things. Just scrolling through, I happened to stumble across the headline and boom. But one of the things I think Republicans need to do is do stuff like that. Buy a Latino radio station, right? You see Democrats doing it, allegedly, of course, but just stuff like that, engaging with folks more, like Scott Presler. Once again, we circling back to Scott Presler. I mean, he's doing some fantastic work. But let's continue.
You as well. I'm going to be very careful because you mentioned Donald Trump, so I'm going to be really careful in not talking about the 2024 election because of the Hatch Act. But what I will say is, and I think this is why it's important for us, like Jared Bernstein, and for people like myself and others, to talk to all of you, right, and lay out what we've done for those two critical communities. You're right. In 2020, the president was able to bring together the largest, most historic coalition that we've ever seen, that Democrats have ever seen. So obviously we want to continue that. What we've done for the Black community and the Latino community, Black community, when the president walked in, unemployment was at 9.2%. Now it's under 6%. That's because of Bidenomics, as we started this conversation. Very similarly, in the Latino community, we saw unemployment go down. And we saw also, when you think about wealth, the wealth gap, the economic wealth, that grew with both communities. So look, the president has always put...
Hold on, time out, Coach. Well, first off, everybody's employed right now because nobody can afford to not be employed, okay? And what types of jobs are these also? That's first thing. And second thing, more wealth? Who's getting all this wealth? I want to know. Like, hey, my Latino brothers and sisters, y'all watching, y'all getting some more wealth out there? Let me know, because I need to figure out what y'all doing. It's crazy. Bro, they are just blatantly lying. Like, man. But, hey, the truth always comes out.
President Biden returning home to some very rough news today as a brand new poll shows him losing serious ground among once reliably Democratic voting blocs. Look at this. Former President Trump leading him, even with the margin of error, by 5 points among Hispanic voters and edging out a 4-point lead with voters under the age of 35. Joining us now, campus reform correspondent and Republican voter Pedro Rodriguez and strategic director at Libre Initiative and conservative voter Monet Flores-Bax. Great to see both of you. Thanks for coming on. Well, you're welcome. Monet, I'll start with you. I know that you're Hispanic, you're a conservative. Why is Trump doing better than Biden right now among Hispanics and younger voters?
I think it has to do with not just Trump, but conservatives in general right now. Their message is really resonating with us. Unfortunately, Biden's policies, for Hispanics, for most Democrats, it's worked in the past, but we're feeling it at the grocery store. We're feeling it at the gas station. Even in just the last election, tax policy didn't affect even myself and other young voters the way that they do this election. And so when we're feeling it just in our bank account and at the grocery store, we're going to vote based on that. And again, the conservative message is really resonating with the traditional Hispanic families.
Yeah, Pedro, this is the USA Today Suffolk University poll. And 2020, the last election, Biden was doing better in these groups than Donald Trump was. Why the flip?
The answer lies within the pocketbooks. Hispanics are entrepreneurs. And with Biden's America right now, Hispanics are struggling to stay afloat. And Hispanic small businesses and the entrepreneur's spirit is dying under Biden's leadership. Leftist policies has hurt young Americans. Financial insecurity is among highest it's ever been with young Hispanics. And young Hispanics are going to flock behind a candidate that can support and champion working class families, reduce inflation, and pave the way for better economic and entrepreneurial opportunities here in the United States, and not desecrate the American way of life.
Monet, it's crazy when you look at these numbers. Among the Hispanic voters, Biden right now, 34%, Trump, 39%. But back in 2020, Biden earned 65% of the Hispanic vote. So within 4 years, he's lost about half of that group. What do you think about the border? How is that affecting how Hispanics feel when they're going to the polls?
Oh, listen to this.
It has a lot to do with it. It's something that's at the forefront of not just Hispanic minds, but every American's minds, which is we as Hispanics want immigration reform, but we also want safety. When my dad came to this country, he wanted opportunity. He wanted the right to start a business and have a career, have quality education, but again, being safe. So again, this is a really important issue that all candidates this next election season need to be focused on.
Yeah.
See, the Democrats think that simply because you are allowing in Hispanics, that the Hispanics here will just be like, just all of them are, clapping like circus seals. And that is not the case. You just heard it there. They understand the dangers of this more than probably any of us could, because some of them and some of their family members came from these places. So they know how dangerous those places are, which is why they're here, obviously. And now you're allowing some of those same individuals that used to terrorize their countries where they came from to come here when they just ran from them. They ran from those, some of these criminals and terrible folks. I'm not saying all the people coming across the border are criminals, right? Well, technically, because they are breaking U.S. law. So technically, yes, they are actually criminals. But, criminals coming in their home countries, right? But a lot of these folks probably are some bad folks. And the Hispanics here recognize that because they've seen them before and they ran from them and their country's policies as well. And they're like, hold on, now you're allowing these people to come here? Oh, no. We like having, immigration, but not just unfettered immigration, not the way that you're doing it. Absolutely not. So the Biden administration is caught between a rock and a hard place because they want a new voting bloc, in my humble opinion. And all of these illegal immigrants are their new voting bloc, right? But they're also angering everyone that's already here. And it's going to be really hard to outnumber everyone that's here with people crossing the border. It's going to be hard to do that. Now, they're trying their hardest, which is why I think they have just a wide open border, anybody and everybody. They're just trying to sheer numbers, right? Just trying to outnumber the equation. And I don't think it's going to work. I think Republicans here soon, if not in November, will shut down the border. I saw Matt Gaetz had posted either we shut down the border or we shut down the country. It's that simple. Which one you want? Which one you want? You want to shut down the border? We can keep the country open. If you don't, well, then the country's closing. Okay, so I like that way of thinking. You don't shut the border, well, then we shutting down the country. How about that?
Tough. It's tough, right, Pedro? Because we look at these images and we see these kids, and of course you have a heart for them. But so many families, like your families, did it the right way. And so when I talk to my friends who did it the right way, they're really annoyed. They're very upset because they said, we had to wait 5 years. I didn't see my kids for 5 years while I was over here trying to make money, and then I could bring my family over. So how do you feel about this topic?
Illegal immigration is under an all-time high under President Biden, and that's a huge insult to legal immigrants and many American citizens. As reported by Campus Reform, illegal immigrants under President Biden are now being treated better than many illegal immigrants and American citizens.
That's true.
I mean, they are going under unfair admissions process and receiving reduced or free housing to American universities,
right,
while college students like myself have to struggle to afford going to American universities or have to limit our educational opportunities because of it. And it just further proves that this is part of the radical leftist agenda to buy votes.
Yeah, especially when they're here illegally. It's one thing if you're paying for someone who needs a leg up for a little bit, but it's totally different when it's someone who did it the wrong way, and now you have to work double the hours to pay for them to do it for free.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, like, I have a heart, I understand some of these folks are coming from some absolutely horrific situations and circumstances. Now, some of them, it's due to their own wrongdoing, right? Shouldn't have, supported the president in your country that you have now. You wouldn't have the situation that you have, but it still remains that, some of these people are coming from some terrible situations. Now, I do have a heart. But at the same time, I care about the country that I'm from, right? And the way that I see things is this. Like, it's cool to help people out, But I feel like we've just been helping people out way, way, way too much. Like the amount of debt that we are in, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. And for a government to just blow money, the way that our government blows money, and then turn around and expect us to manage our money properly. And if we don't, we're in trouble. You know, if you don't pay Uncle Sam, oh, he's coming after you. If you don't, like, that's BS. BS. So our government isn't held to the same standard that we're being held to. The government should be held to a higher standard than we are held to, in my humble opinion, right? So, listen, I think there needs to be some major, major cuts across the board. I mean, basically all funding being sent overseas anywhere should be cut with the exclusion of maybe a few things. I'm sure there's probably, a couple of things here or there where it's like, Rich, you probably don't want to cut that. Like, that's majorly important. All right, cool. We can have, 4 or 5 places where we sending some cash. All right, I get it. But we sending money all over the darn place. The money needs to be here. First off, stop taxing us out the wazoo, right? I support the Republicans' tax plan, flat tax, right? Flat tax across the board. Simple and plain. You get taxed one time, and that's that. You're not taxed and then taxed again, and then taxed when you buy some, and that person's taxed with the money that you spend. Like, no. Tax one time, and that's that. Okay? And we're going to bring spending all the way down. All the way down. And, as far as the border goes, hey, close the border. Close the border. Because at the end of the day, if we don't take care of ourselves, how are we going to then continue to take care of everyone else? Right? You can't run yourself into the ground while you're taking care of other people, because once you fall, they all fall. So you got to take care of yourself first. And I believe in America first. That's not selfish. That's not, me downplaying other people's situation. That's just me caring. Honestly, I would say that's me caring about everyone. Because if America doesn't take care of ourselves first, we can't take care of everybody else. I'm just saying. Now, like I said, I do think we need to cut costs, because the amount of debt that we're in is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, basically never pay it back type of level, which is absolutely insane, because as Americans, we're not allowed to do stuff like that. Could you imagine being in, if your salary is, I don't know, I'm just throwing out some numbers here. If your salary is $50,000 a year, but you have, $100 million in debt, like, how does that even work? It just doesn't even make sense. And I'm not saying that the ratio is the same with our government, but the ratio is crazy, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Bring Uncle Trump back. He'll figure it out. He'll get it all straightened out. And I like what what's the president of, was it Argentina? I covered the story not long ago. He was like Argentina's Donald Trump or something, or one of those countries, and he got elected, and he basically cut out all of these government, little what do you call it, departments, right, that were completely unnecessary, like the DEI departments and stuff like that, little pointless departments of the government. Just shut them all down. I think we definitely need to do that as well with the government departments, along with government spending to other places. If you're gonna spend money anywhere, spend it here with Americans that need it. Simple. That's the way I feel about it. But hey, y'all let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.